What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. I'm sure most of you are just freezing your butts off right now. I know I am. My goodness, it is chilly out, but happy that you would spend part of your morning into lunch hour or whatever, depending on where you are, with yours truly. We're going to be digging into some content audits. That means I'm going to be looking at content, LinkedIn content, giving feedback on how it can be improved. I always prioritize veterans, military spouses, and transitioning service members so I can give them the most pointed feedback. But whether you're actually having your content torn apart or critiqued or not, the feedback that these folks receive is going to be valuable to you, whether you're a veteran or not. So everybody, I think, should tune in. And man, we got some great comments already. Chris, go. You're too kind. My goodness. When is our charity boxing match? Is that just like where you pummel me for 5 minutes until I cry and run away? Because that's probably, man, you're way stronger than me, and I don't think I've ever boxed in my life. I always thought it would be funny though to have a charity boxing match, to like an annual charity boxing match where all of the cards are just veterans who have like a public beef with one another because there's so many, and call it like Vet Beef 2023, and it's just like veteran influencers who are all like childish and fighting each other and trolling each other, like just finally duke it out, and then you raise money for charity. That would be amazing. And then the loser has to donate to the winner's selected veteran serving charity. I think we're on to something here. Since I came up with the idea, I don't have to fight. Okay, I don't want to fight anybody. Bro, make it happen. Man, Vet Beef 2023 coming to a rundown abandoned YMCA gymnasium near you. Dan, hello from Wisconsin. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Jack says, sign me up. Vet Beef 23. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for joining. Please appreciate those of you making comments. If you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, continue to make comments. Share this stream out. Share it. Hey, I'm watching this. This is valuable. Please join in. That helps me quite a bit. But I'm just gonna, I'm gonna dive right in. I'm gonna do some diving in. Dan says I would pay good money to see Chris pummel Adam. Just say, what did I do to you, man? Come on. I guess it would all be for a good cause. I would take a beating for a good veteran charity. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I have regrets already. All right, so I'm gonna share this tab. Can y'all see that tab? That's Barry. Barry is a buddy of mine. He was the very first volunteer. He was the first person who got in there. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Make sure that everybody here can see what's going on here. Okay. If you cannot see, let's see. Dan is too nice a guy. I would feel as if I committed a federal. Gene, what's up, Gene? How are you? Good to see you. You guys are nuts. All right. So you guys, everybody sees Barry's profile here. And notice that Chris commented St. Louis, right? I know I'm talking about content, but one profile comment. I tell people if they don't know what to put in their banner photo, that's the big kind of wide photo behind their profile picture, to put a cityscape, because that is a potential connection point with other people. So Chris saw that and he goes, St. Louis, I've been there. I've been to Busch Stadium. I've been to the Arch. And all of a sudden, subconsciously, you have a thread between the two of you if you didn't have one before. So that's exactly why you do it. That just like, Chris, checks in the mail, man. Thanks for proving my point. The Arch is beautiful. It really is. And Busch Stadium's beautiful too. The problem is it's filled with Cardinals players and Cardinals fans. That's the worst part about Busch Stadium, is all of the Cardinal related stuff that's there. Other than that, I mean, if you were able to take all the Cardinals and the Cardinals fans and anybody who's indifferent towards the Cardinals and just load them into a trebuchet and launch them out into the Mississippi River, vastly improved space. That's my smack talk for the day. All right, let's go to your content. If you want to see somebody's content, you scroll down and you look for their activity. And then you look for show all activity. And then all activity shows every time they like or comment or whatever. That's a lot. You go to posts. Post is where you want to go. And this is exactly and precisely what I am going to be reviewing today. If you cannot, easy tiger. I'm just talking noise. Like I used to be a really like avid Brewers fan, being a Wisconsin native, but like I just like this is going to sound weird. I don't care about sports anymore. It's been a couple years. I do not care about sports at all. So it's hollow, toothless smack talk. Dan, I've been hating the Cardinals since 1982. I was born in 84, so you got 2 years on me. Born and bred, just not a fan of the Cardinals. You guys have a highway named after Mark McGuire. Come on. The guy was, anyways. Okay. All right, Barry, let's look at this first post. All right. I can tell decent engagement. You have about 5,000 followers. So 20 engagements and 5 comments is decent. Back in November, I started doing some side work to help my friend Craig Williams and his growing company, Journey 12. So if you are tagging somebody in your LinkedIn posts, and this goes for all of you, tagging somebody or a company, make darn certain that that person that you're tagging is going to engage with your post. If they do, it'll give it a boost. If they don't, it's going to throttle it back. That's why I tell some people do the whole like tag salad on the bottom of their post where they'll like tag 30 people that they think might be interested in the post. Not only is that like an etiquette faux pas, like don't do that. If 1 or 2 people specifically have a connection to your post, you can tag them and say, here's why I think you would think that this is interesting. You can save that for the comments, but the whole like tagging 10 plus people on the bottom because you think it'll help your reach, don't do that. Because if those 10 people do not engage with the post, it's going to get throttled back. So hopefully, if I look in here, if I look at the engagements, I'm going to see that. And I already forgot his name, Chris Williams. It has engaged with the post. Craig Williams? Was it Craig Williams? Craig Williams. Yep. Okay. Craig Williams. And then did the Journey 12 company page respond? That's not as important as your first tag. Okay. So tagging thoughts aside, back in November, I started doing some side work to help my friend Craig Williams and his growing company, Journey 12. If I don't know Craig, and if I'm not like inherently interested in what Barry has to say, and I don't know what Journey 12 is, you haven't done anything to pique my interest, right? I don't know who Craig is. I don't know what Journey 12 is. And if I'm, quickly scrolling through the newsfeed to find stuff that interests me while I'm on the John during my 12-minute lunch break, you have to grab people's attention with that first sentence, that grab line. I have to make sure that I'm like effectively. What about hashtags? I'll get to hashtags. Yeah, it's a good question, Jack. Yeah, you bet. I just got to make sure that I'm covering this. I've got like two computers. I'm doing the 2 computer thing. Wish I wasn't doing the 2 computer thing, but here I am, right? Okay. Technology, what can you do? Okay, so back in November, I started doing some side work to help my friend. Why did you help your friend Craig? Why? And what's his company? What does his company do? Who does his company serve? My buddy Craig has a growing company that helps blank achieve blank. Or, you don't even need to tag Journey 12 in it. I decided to help my friend Craig in his quest to support blank, whoever you serve, right? That is interesting to me. Like if you tell me that you helped Craig in his, you helped your friend Craig to try to save the endangered pink fairy armadillo, which is a real thing. Look up the pink fairy armadillo. It's in Argentina. It's a real thing and it's amazing, right? So let's say that Journey 12 is a nonprofit that exists to help save and conserve and help the pink fairy armadillo to proliferate throughout Argentina and beyond. Okay, so you can say back in November, context, that doesn't really matter too much. You could say not too long ago, or just dive right into like, I was excited to help my friend Craig in his quest to save the pink fairy armadillo. All of a sudden, I want to know what is happening there. Even if you're not saving the pink fairy armadillo, whatever. The grab line, you have to think about it from the context of somebody that doesn't know you, doesn't know who you're tagging, and doesn't know what's going on. And you have to give them just enough that they would that they'd be intrigued to click that see more, right? Once they click that see more, it gives you a huge boost. Okay, this is a novel. It's too long. Too long. If you have something that's this long, if you receive an email that looks like this, what are you going to do? You're going to skim it, right? You're going to skim. Big line up front, bullet point. You got to think of people's attention spans during their 12-minute lunch break while they're scrolling through the news feed, sitting on the John, like I said earlier. So that has to be truncated. And if all of the stuff in that post is relevant to what you're trying to get across, it's better done as a blog article, which you can make by going to your main page, clicking write article. Oh, there's Rich Cardona. What's up, dude? Select who you want to post it from, and then boom, you can create a blog article. And they don't have to be long. A lot of people are like, well, I don't have a 5,000 word essay in me. No, you don't need a 5,000 word essay. You need this to be a blog article. Okay. Journey 12 believes in building deeper engagement between families, schools, and communities through professional storytelling. And that's exactly what I've been striving to do, to be a storyteller. That is more interesting than your grab line, and unfortunately has very little, if not anything at all, to do with the pink fairy armadillo. Sad, but it is what it is. All right. So my buddy Craig's company works to build deeper engagement between families, schools, and communities through storytelling. There's probably a concise way to say that. Maybe reach out to Craig. What's your elevator pitch, man? Because if he can't in one sentence express who he serves and how and what sets them apart, then I'm sure he can. Okay. So start with that. I've been on a journey to improve my storytelling. Here's a good one. I've been on a journey to improve my storytelling. So it made sense for me to work to support my friend Craig in his business's endeavors. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, what does Craig and his business endeavors have to do with storytelling? Okay. And then your actual content here, either this is a blog post or this is two separate posts. You can have more than one post about the same thing. You know what I mean? So last night I received 2 care packages, 8 issues, these individual school board members, blah, 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 blah. I wrote 20, you wrote 29 stories in these 8 issues? Good gravy. That's impressive. So a separate post could be in these 8 magazines. I wrote 29 stories in these 8 magazines. That's a compelling thing. Like, wow, you use data to tell me, what you did. Like, that's a huge figure. 29 stories in these 8 magazines alone. That's incredible. That could be a grab line for a second post. Most of you likely don't know that at heart, I'm a storyteller, and a job writing newspapers, that's a separate post. And you can connect these together. And when you connect things together in a thread in LinkedIn, when you have, like, let's say you have 3 posts 3 days in a row that are loosely connected content-wise, do not put, here's my post about this day 1. Here's my post about this day 2. Nobody cares. And anybody who's scrolling along that and they see, like, here's my blah, blah, blah progress, day 14, they're going to just skip by because they didn't read 1 through 13. You're losing people who are already not engaged. So leave that part out, but you can have things that are content related for 3 days in a row. So day 1 could be, You're trying to improve your storytelling, your story about how you're trying to improve storytelling. So you decided to help your friend Craig in his stuff with Journey 12, and Journey 12 does this, that, and the other. Great organization. Add, and then something at the end, what organizations, or do you think storytelling is a valuable educational tool? There is a call to action. All right. So that's one post. Post 2 is, check out this picture of these 8 magazine issues. Guess what? I wrote 29 of the articles in here. Let me tell you more. Okay. That's intriguing. That's a second post. And a third post, most of you likely don't know that I'm a storyteller. And I wrote for newspapers. That's amazing. And you minored in creative writing. That's all awesome. So that's a third post. You're a storyteller at heart, and you just want to improve and do more storytelling. And then you can talk about your journey and how you're still on your journey, and say your CTA at the end of the post could be, what resources do you find helpful in your storytelling journey? To everyone who trusted me to tell their story, and Craig providing I want to thank you. It's been, great way to end. But it doesn't, you wrapped it up in a neat little bow, which is okay. That's good, but great would be in a way that would compel other people to respond. This post is great. I mean, and you had good engagement. You generally have good engagement, but had this been separated into 3 separate ideas, done as a blog post, I think you would have gotten more bang for your buck. Let me see the comments. Very cool, Barry. Congrats. You liked it, but did not reply. Wah, wah. Yeah. You got to reply to these, reply to these comments, and reply to them in a substantive fashion. And it has to be within an hour or 2 of their post. So when you make a post, the best practices, and obviously if you don't do this, it's not the end of the world. We're just talking about things that you can do to make sure that your post proliferates and in turn has the most impact. We're not talking about vanity metrics here, right? We're talking about reaching the most people with your message so you can help more people, so you can build your platform more effectively, right? So if you reply within the hour or 2 hours, then the LinkedIn algorithm gives you a thumbs up. If you don't, or if you just reply with like a thanks or thumbs up emoji or whatever, it's not going to help you. It's actually going to work against you. So it's good that you liked all these. I'm assuming these are you. Yep. But you need to reply in a substantive fashion in anything that is more substantive than very cool. So like, very cool, Barry, congrats. You can reply, hey, appreciate you reading. That's not going to help you very much, but it won't hurt you it won't hurt you like leaving a blank will. Now, these subjects are so fortunate to have you tell their stories, and we're lucky to have you as part of our storytelling team. And then you reply with something humble. Hey, thank you for all that you do. I'm just proud to be a part of it. Let's keep kicking butt. That has to happen. All right. So, hey, SHRM of Greater St. Louis, do you remember back in 2020 I gave a virtual keynote? Okay, so you've already lost me. There. It's just your grab line can't be a paragraph. I mean, it can. It's just like what you did here, and your engagement is still good despite it. So, I mean, you have a really engaged network. And I think if you just tweaked a couple things, you would get like monumental response. So by saying, hey, SHRM of Greater St. Louis. So all of a sudden I'm scrolling, and if I'm not part of that, then I'm out. I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm not part of SHRM. I'm not interested. I don't care. I'm out. Scroll. Do you remember back in late 2021 when Steven Shedletsky gave the virtual keynote for our blah, 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 blah? All of a sudden, I wasn't at that annual leadership conference. I don't know who Steven is. Scroll, right? You may remember that Shed and I chatted about psychological safety and toxic positivity. You may not realize that Shed is one of the first times he spoke publicly about body knowledge that would become the body of knowledge that would become speak of cuts of blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you could have phrased this in a way that got more people involved. Back in late 2021, I witnessed a virtual keynote that opened my eyes to the realities of psychological safety and toxic positivity in the workplace. Enter, visual space. And that even might be a little long, but that's just off the top of my head. The presenter was Steven Shedletsky, and believe it or not, this was his first time presenting on blah, 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 or first time he publicly spoke about these subjects that would become these books. Okay, so they're just getting you to think about the first chunk of content being a grab line, 1-2 sentences, maybe tops, and that get people to want to click more. Okay, let's see. Stephen would say, "Giddy up, great ending." I want a quick reminder. That's brilliance. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, just streamline and reformat. But again, your engagement's good. Let me see your comments. All right, you have a pre-order for the book there. That's totally fine. Steve, okay, so you were replying to these. Okay, so you generally make a habit of replying. One thing that I used to not recommend quite a bit, that I recommend now, is actually this question. Where is this? What about hashtags? What about hashtags? So LinkedIn advises, and whenever a social media platform tells you this is what you should do, you listen to them. All right. Especially when it comes to SEO stuff, especially when it comes to algorithm stuff. Like, if they tell you, you listen, because they're not going to lie about that at all. And LinkedIn is now saying between 5 and 7 hashtags at the end. I have been experimenting with using hashtags and have found a slightly improved reach when I do. You can throw them at the end, go big to small, like hashtag storytelling, hashtag SHRM, hashtag, get from macro to micro. 5 to 7. I usually say 3 to 5, but LinkedIn is now saying 5 to 7. That could change. So shoot for 5, and that could do the trick. All right. So Jill says, is that under the see more, or does it not matter because no one will click it? It's a really good question, Jill. No, if nobody clicks the see more, it doesn't matter what content is under there. That's why your grab line is so important. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody is there to tweet about it, does it exist? Does that event happen? It's a bad analogy, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, let me do one more from him and I'll go on to the next person. Great quote to ponder, blah, 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 blah. I like just starting with the quote. Momentum is mass multiplied by velocity. What it weighs, x times how fast it's going. When I'm trying to get, okay, so you start with the good one. When I'm trying to get back to something that matters, I always try to take on too much, too fast. I've got a lot of mass, but no velocity and no ability to create any. That would be a great place to start. That's an intriguing quote. Right now you've said, like, hey, I've got a quote coming up. Here comes my quote. My quote is from this guy. And here's kind of the preliminary quote part that's not relevant to a lot of people. All right, here's the meat and potatoes. You want the meat and potatoes at the top. If anyone here is a Van Halen fan, this is going to be an out there analogy. David Lee Roth, man, that guy would put on a show and he would kick his leg up like he was a gymnast, wearing those tight spandex pants, and just, that was his thing. He'd hold a microphone like this and he'd kick out to the side, right? And that's every time he'd do that, everybody would go, "Wow, he's kicking his leg out. Oh my gosh!" Like it's like it was a big deal or something. But it was David Lee Roth, right? So then, if you recall, in like around 2000, I don't know, 2009, 2010, something like that, they did a reunion tour with David Lee Roth, and they came out with some new songs, and then a remaster of some of their greatest hits. But like, if you watch video, even the music video of David Lee Roth, he like tries to do some kicks, but I mean, he's getting on in years, so it's like he's stealing himself. He's like, "Here it comes. Get ready. I'm about to kick my leg out. Okay, here we go." And then he kicks his leg out, and by then everybody's like, "Oh man, that was hard to watch." So this is the way this post is formatted is the equivalent of elderly David Lee Roth getting that kick out there, and here's his kick. And by then I don't care about the kick anymore. So like, you need like 70s era, 70s, early 80s, David Lee Roth kicking out at a concert. I saw Van Halen live. It was one of my first concerts when I was a kid. My older brother got vomited on by a drunk guy sitting behind us. Anyways, is there an advantage of adding a photo to the post if it matches the copy? Yes, there is. Well, it depends, is the answer to that. I'll see a photo post on one of the other people's things that I'm going to review. I'm going to get on to the next person And hopefully I'll see one there. I got Van Halen level engagement. That's all I heard anyways. Score. Nice one. Your stuff's good, Barry. Like really, really. You know, I hope the Van Halen analogy wasn't offensive. Your stuff is really good. It's always been good. Those are just some little tweaks that I do. And if you got to write a novel, man, whip out that blog post, homie. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to go to the next one. Share screen. Chrome tab. Who's next? Is it Jill? Chris. Chris is next. Chris Snell. All right. Let's see what you got, my dude. Chris, your photo. I don't know which one you are. Are you the beard guy or are you the Medal of Honor guy? I don't know. I think you're the beard guy. I'm pretty sure you're the beard guy, but if I don't know you, you know, if I don't know you, if I don't know what's going on, maybe you're Medal of Honor guy. I don't know. Just a comment on your profile. All right. See, you're beard guy. All right. See, I knew that. All right, let me go into show all activity. I'm in a weird mood today, you guys. My goodness. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, Barry says, in all seriousness, I appreciate you. Greatly beneficial. A lot to think. Oh, yeah, man. Of course. Anytime. I'm here to help. All right. So, Chris, let's look at your posts. I always get tempted to get sucked in and do profile review stuff. All right. Principles related to service connection, part 1. Check the link in the comments for your copy. No, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So here's the copy. All right. So principles relating to service connection, part 1. If I'm a veteran, I know what service connection is, probably, and then that's something that may interest me. Okay. And then you pretty much right away invited somebody to hop into a link that'll take you elsewhere for the copy, I think, of a publication. Or let's take a look at what this is. I think there's a different way. Yeah. Okay. Principles related to service connection. Okay. You have to get people to want to watch this video. It's compelling from the onset. Okay, we'll talk about that, the video in a second. But what principles are you talking about in the video? I'm not even going to watch the video right now, but like, what are you talking about in the video? Because you think about people's stance as they are scrolling through on their break or whatever. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on mute. All right, so they will have to be engaged before they click to unmute you, which is a challenge for video. Right. If the chance that their audio is on while they're scrolling, I don't really know if anybody does that. Then you have a chance to get their attention. But really, even in a video, you need the copy, you need the text in the grab line to get the attention, right? To get people interested in reading more, not only reading more, but clicking to hear what you have to say. Okay. And if you do not upload a thumbnail photo or a cover photo for your video, it'll default to having, when people are scrolling through, whatever is happening in the first frame of the video. Okay. And in the first frame of the video, if I am not a certain kind of person who wants to hear, like, I see determined, I see a badass, I see a straight shooter, I see someone who is maybe a little gruff, I see, you know what I mean? Like, if you're that type of person and you respond to people like that, I may be more encouraged to click on. Okay. But if I'm not, I'd be like, that guy's scary. I'm going to keep scrolling. Okay. That's why a lot of people you'll see at the beginning of their videos, they start recording with a smile on their face, because that first frame ends up being the cover photo as people are scrolling by. And statistically, if you are smiling in a picture or a video, or the beginning part of a video or a picture, smiling, people on LinkedIn are more likely to view you as engaging or competent and worthy of engaging with or hearing from. Don't be afraid to smile. Don't be afraid to smile. So yeah, principles relating to service connection. Okay. So I need you to put in that text in the first line, something that may be shocking. Did you know that blah, 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 blah? What's a fun fact that you can extrapolate from the post? Okay. One sentence is fine. Maybe an emoji at the end. 2 sentences top. Something that makes people go like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I want to learn more. Enter for visual space. Then you need a little bit more copy in the body. You need a little more text in the body of this. And the reason why is you want to have a see more button, right? If you get a certain amount of characters, you get the ... see more. People will click on that and they'll read more. And if they're reading more, that means their dwell time is higher. The more time that your content is on somebody's screen, on mobile or in their web browser, your dwell time goes up, which increases the likelihood of LinkedIn pushing it to more people in your newsfeed. Okay, so the see more button is important. The dwell time is important. That's why there's a balance. Like that post from Barry earlier, too long. This post, the text is too short. Good use of hashtags. I'm trying to make hashtag veterans of LinkedIn happen, but I'm having a hard time with that. All right. So, and then at the end, you can say, for more information, I threw the link in the comments. Okay. But never rely on whatever it is that you are linking to do the storytelling for you, because in this fashion, people are just going to keep scrolling, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm sure the video's good. There would be a serious lag if I actually played it here. But what I will do is I will play it on.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So I don't know if anybody heard that. There was a pause at the beginning and then, hey, everybody. A lot of people like to leave that out. You start and it's just, here's what's important. Here's what's important. If you're doing a live stream, start with, hey, everybody. I think I started with, hey, everybody. It's not the end of the world. But if every second of dead time you have at the beginning, you're going to lose 20% of your people. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, 4 seconds almost before you moved your mouth. So you're going to lose 20 and then 20% of the remaining people and then 20% of the remaining people and 20% of the remaining people for every second that you have dead air at the front of that. So you can get a simple video editing tool, even the video editor on your iPhone, to just curtail it on the front end. So if somebody clicks on that, it is boom, right into it. The other thing that I would say is I'm going to play this and I'm going to show captions. Good. Okay. Captions are very, very important. Either you can hard code them into the actual video, or LinkedIn now mercifully has an auto caption feature. Just know if you hard code the captions into the video, you need to turn off LinkedIn's auto caption. Otherwise, you're going to have 2 things of captions right over top of one another, which is lame. But this is good because, again, people are scrolling through while they're at work, and maybe they don't want people to know they're on social media, or maybe they're at home and their kids are sleeping and they need to be quiet. So this is super important to have captions there. Never post a video these days without captions. All right. For the engagement reason, for the reason that it's more likely that somebody will engage with your content and dwell on your content and seek to see more from your content, but also from an accessibility standpoint. All right. You think about equity of access to your content. Okay. Right now, if someone is blind and using a screen reader, for example, which is not uncommon in our demographic, in the people who we are trying to speak to, if they're using a screen reader, they get principles relating to service connection part 1. Check the link in the comments for your copy, and then a bunch of hashtags. You didn't tell them anything. And then if somebody is hearing impaired, which is, again, not uncommon in our demographic, those captions are essential. All right. So think of ease of accessibility and equity of accessibility. He said, it's a resting face, Adam. Calm down. I hear you and appreciate the feedback. Hey, I appreciate that type of person. I'm telling you, I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I wish, I'm a flannel guy too. I wear flannel. Like we dress the same, like Cole's chic. I am there. And I'm jealous because I wish I could grow a beard like that. I can't. The second it gets out to a certain length, it just it goes haywire. I get big patches of grow, so I'm jealous. But yeah, man. So that's good. Just those couple tidbits actually having copy that text that engages people and actually says a little bit more than like, hey, I'd tell you about what's going on, but I said it in the video and there's a link down there. You probably need to do a little more than that if you're going to get people to actually click on the video or click on the link. So a little bit more copy and kill the dead air at the beginning of your video, and maybe even throw a not resting marine face on. Just a thought. I think that'll increase your engagement. And you really had good engagement overall. All right, 6 comments, good. One of them is yours. You didn't like your own post, did you? Okay, good. All right, create a snazzy hashtag for instance so we can follow easier. Like, oh, hey, there you go. Okay, good. Keep doing short videos. Darn right, keep doing short videos. Great beard, brother. All right, these are all people that you should be replying to. You replied here, but yeah, you should be replying to all these people. This is a good substantive comment. Nice short explanation of a long definition. Keep doing these short videos. You can talk about your journey with short videos. They helped you to pivot. You can say, I've had a great time on my, learning how to do these short videos. They're definitely the way of the future. It's not hard to find something to reply to somebody about. And again, it is an SEO. It's an algorithm booster. Okay. Great beard, brother. I mean, you could reply with an affiliate link to your favorite beard oil. I don't know. Let's see. The fact remains at all times that when you file for a VA disability claim, that you are responsible for your claim. That's not bad. I think you lose a little bit of energy by saying the fact remains at all times that when it's like saying, if you say like, to be honest, blah, 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 blah. But like, to be honest, just like steals some power from whatever follows it. Or to be quite frank, power stolen. If the fact remains that blah, 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 I believe that blank. If these are facts, just throw them out there. Okay. You could even say like hard truth, when you file for a VA disability claim, you are responsible for your claim. Or, oh, no, that's a good one. Or just start with when you file a VA disability claim, you, all caps, are responsible for that claim. I think getting to the meat and potatoes is the way to go. I say this because I want to help free up veterans from being afraid or having angst in filing for VA. Okay, that's great. I want to click more. How can we go about doing this? So, okay. Another way to go about this is you could say, I want to help free up veterans from being afraid of having angst in filing. Probably just one of those. I want to help free up veterans from being afraid to file their VA disability claims. How can we go about doing this? That's a way to start. A grab line followed by asking yourself a question. That is a great way to get people to click see more. Well, my solution is to have blah, 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 blah. Good. Are you interested? If you're interested, that's good. And you have a CTA at the end. It's a lot of hashtags, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, good. All right, network. Hey, y'all, Nations Finance is accepting nominations for people who make them. You could probably just start with Nations Finance is accepting nominations, or an organization that I follow is, or if you or someone makes a difference in the lives of veterans and their families, don't miss this opportunity to celebrate them. That would probably be a better way to start that. But this isn't horrible. Rob Riggle, what a guy. He's a nice guy. Types of evidence for VA to note. I can't read. I didn't enter the video and was completely caffeinated per Michael Klemmer's rules. Good. Stay caffeinated. Types of evidence for VA disability claims. So a way that you could start this is, I'm assuming in the video you're talking about the different kinds of evidence that you can submit for a VA disability claim. You could say, people ask me all the time, what are the different types of evidence for VA disability claims? Or you can start with, what are the different types of evidence? Or did you know that there are different types of evidence you can submit for your VA disability claims? Well, there are. Enter visual space, and then a little bit more content. All right. Ideally, someone would be able to get the gist and the main points of your post in the text or in the video, but not have to seek a combination of the two to find that. And your responses are great. You have a very active community. So I think making a few of those changes would really help you spread out. If you haven't already, please. Oh, wait, what was this one? Not many know this about me, but when I was young Mortarman gun leader, I was awarded the Dale Dye Award for keeping the motivation within our class. Oh, cool. That's a good one. You can almost start with, when I was a young Mortarman gun leader, I was awarded the Dale Dye Award for keeping motivation within our class. Here's the best part, ... I met Dale Dye personally, and he presented me with a certificate in corn. Oh, hey, cool. How about that? Cool. Yeah, your stuff is good. Yeah, nobody's giving me anything that's totally ate up. My page is Brown County Veteran Service Office. Shout out to you guys, man. All right, it's good. Good. I'm going to go on to the next one. Going on to the next one. And that's going to be Jill. You're up, Jill. Thanks for waiting patiently. Present. Share screen. Where are you at, Jill? There you are, Jill. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be tempted to look at content or look at the profile. I'm going right to the content. Right to the content. Okay. First, all context. Let me see how many followers you have. Okay. Show all activity. That's how you see anybody's content. Incidentally, if you ever have somebody reach out to you, which happens all the time to me, and saying like, I can help you expand your LinkedIn network through these automation tools and blah, 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 blah. Or like, I have a way that I can help expand your network while you're sleeping, they're pretty aggressive. Never, ever do that. But if they won't leave me alone, what I'll do is I'll go into their profile and I'll look at their activity and see their responses to their posts and how many replies. I had one guy who was a veteran reach out to me and say, hey man, this is how you expand your network. And I was like, I've got this tool. It's affordable and you can expand your network this way. And I knew that's baloney because there is no way to shortcut that. There is no cheat code. The only cheat code is be consistent. That's it. That's the cheat code. But I said, hey, is that how you built your network? And he's like, yeah, I've got 17,000 organic followers in my network and they're blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, nice. So I went to his profile. I went to his activity and I started scrolling through his posts and it was like one like, and it was him, no likes, no comments, blah, 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 nothing. So I went into his network and started looking up his people, and like 90% of his connections, over 90% were not in the continental US, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being from other places. But, if he's trying to sell services in the US, probably doesn't make sense for him to have 13,000 connections from New Zealand or whatever it was. So you can learn a lot about somebody and what they're selling by looking at their content and their network. Anyways, I digress. Mil spouse support organizations get one key thing wrong. It's not about getting the job. So a few years ago, I would have said that it's not bad to start with a hashtag, but right now it's kind of out of vogue, and a lot of younger folks will see posts, especially if it's in the title for like a YouTube video or a short or a TikTok. If in that first sentence there are hashtags, they'll just avoid because they smell a shill, an advertisement. They are. If we think our generation, like Gen X and elder millennials, are good at sniffing out being advertised to or marketed to, the next generation is ridiculous. Their marketing and advertisement radar is insane. So they see the hashtag in the front and it looks cheesy. That's what the kids will tell you, or whatever the kids say. Yeah, are they still saying YOLO? That's like 20 years old, I think. So yeah, don't start with hashtags. So and plus, like if I don't know what mil spouse means, then I'm not going to read anymore. You could say there are, military spouse support organizations that get one key thing wrong. It's not about getting a job, or military spouse nonprofits mistakenly focus on just getting a job. Here's why that's a mistake. All right. And then military spouse. Yeah, I wouldn't do the hashtag thing. So military spouse, highly educated, here's the reality of that situation. ... That's, you have created a conflict by saying, here's something that these organizations get wrong, right? You've created a conflict. There's something that is awry, something that is wrong, something that is missing, right? So then you want somebody to see what the solution to that problem is. You create friction, then you smooth it out, right? Support organizations, or military spouse supporting nonprofits are great in theory, but many of them get one thing wrong, and it's damaging to our whole community. To me, that I'm saying, oh gosh, and you do enter to leave visual space. I want to click see more because I want to know what they're getting wrong. The thing that's having this huge negative impact. You have created friction. People don't like conflict. they need to get it smoothed out, right? So you can create a conflict and smooth it out, right? Let's see. It's not about getting a job. Here's the blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's a little bit long, just a tad. I would truncate that a little bit. I say between 2 and 3. So in your grab line, between 1 and 2 sentences, and everywhere else between 2 and 3. If you just do one sentence chunks, it's called broetry, and young people hate it too. All right. So I'm glad you didn't do that. But I usually start with 1 to 2 sentences, and then in the body do 2 or 3 sentences. And then sometimes for the last one, I'll do 1 sentence. I would save those hashtags for the end. Save them for the end. You're not going to lose anything. I think people are more likely to see this post and be like, hashtag, I'm out. Like hashtag word 1, I'm out, than they are to, if they get to the bottom of the post and they see a hashtag salad that's between 5 and 7 hashtags, they're not going to be like, oh man, I really regret reading that whole thing and having massive dwell time because there are hashtags here now. The only thing that it can do is dissuade people from reading on. Let me check to make sure. Dana says, I got to jump off. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you. And this was, I don't know why it just says LinkedIn user, but this was Chris, I believe. Thanks for the feedback. Definitely some critiques that I needed to hear and improve from here on out. Hey man, you're doing great work. I'm glad you're out there. I'm glad you're talking about VA benefits too, and disability claims. It's really important stuff. So yeah, if I can be helpful at all, man, you just reach out. I'm here for you. Okay. So yeah, hashtags at the end. Spend less time providing another resume workshop and more time educating employers on why they need to hire male spouses and veterans. Yeah, right on. That's a compelling thing. That's your SmackDown moment. Yeah, that's your SmackDown moment. That needs to be higher up. That's the sentence that makes people go like, oh, snap. So a little bit higher up. Let's see. To everyone writing a press release, your audience is not the public. Ooh, okay. Good. To everyone writing a press release, communication plan, or article, your audience is not the public. This might be about niching down. Let me see. Everyone on earth is not interested in what you're selling or telling. You can almost put that up front. You could say, to everyone writing a press release, communication plan, or article, everyone on earth is not interested in what you are selling or telling. Enter. Your audience is not the public. Tiny nitpicky thing, but that's good. All right. So scrolling on, good formatting. All right. And you save your hashtags for the end. Good. Your mindset matters, according to scientists. Somewhat compelling. If you have a growth mindset, you're more likely to learn about blah, 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 blah. I believe you could have done more to drag somebody in using, it didn't get a lot of engagement because I think your mindset matters doesn't really say anything compelling. You haven't created friction or told me something that makes me say like, wait, what? I want to learn more. You could say, according to scientists, or research demonstrates that if you believe your brain can grow, you behave differently. Wow, interesting. Or scientists have recently create urgency. Scientists have recently discovered that you can create different outcomes with your brain. What? I would want to learn more, right? So just some reformatting of your grab line. Otherwise, good. How do you learn to love your job? This might be a separate post. It's a little long. All right. Still sharing good news as part of my 2023 intentions. Take that out. That's not a grab line. And that's like what I said earlier. Like I'm talking about this part 1. That's David Lee Roth, like gearing up to do his kick. All right. If you're still sharing good news, you can put that towards the bottom. If it's really important that this post is part of a series and that people who read your stuff know that it's part of a series, throw it at the end. before your hashtags, like, and it gives you an opportunity to throw in a call to action, a CTA. So if you throw it at the bottom, you can say, still sharing good news as part of my setting 2023 intentions. What intentions are you setting? There you go. There's a cheap CTA you can throw in there, but this is not a grab line. All right, let's see. When 3 employees of a New York McDonald's were forced to accept the fact that they weren't going home during a Christmas storm, they opened up the store to stranded motorists and ended up, oh man, there's a lot of compelling stuff in there. You could say a New York City McDonald's, employees at a New York City McDonald's were forced to house stranded motorists during a Christmas blizzard. Here's what I learned about that. Like, I think there are ways that you can get, and I don't need to harp on it, but that grab line, it's a missed opportunity because it's a very compelling story. And notice that there's good engagement. I think had you had a better grab line, you'd have had more engagement, but you don't have any comments because there's not a CTA, because you didn't invite people in. You just told them a story. But this is a dialogue, right? So you want to say, let's see, utility crews and several animals were fed and served hot chocolate and coffee during the storm. Do you know any heartwarming stories, or, have you ever been caught in a blizzard? Like, some of those are lame, but they're the first that come to mind. But that's a great opportunity. A cheap CTA would be still sharing good news as part of my setting 2023 intentions. What intentions are you setting? Are you on track to achieve your goals? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. PR leaders. Okay. Instantly, anybody who's not a PR leader doesn't care. And you started with a hashtag. So anybody who's annoyed by hashtags doesn't care. PR, we're in a service. We support everyone on the front line. Our job is awesome. Okay. So you have basically niched down your audience, and there's nothing wrong with niching down, but you have overly niched down to the point where if you're not a PR leader in a service organization, nobody's going to click further. And it doesn't look like there was a lot of reaction to it. So our work is held up for the world to... PR is hard. You know what? You've been there. What are you doing to recognize your folks today? How are you thanking them for their hard work? I think you have a couple different thoughts here, but your main thought, I think, is ensuring that other folks, probably in a service organization, especially volunteers, get recognized and understood. So I would start there. Get rid of the PR leaders thing. You can start with, let's see. When you're part of a nonprofit, or when you're part of a service organization, your job is, 90% of your job is ensuring that your volunteers get recognized and thanked. People would be like, what, 90%? And then you can further explain. But yeah, and then you put in PR at the end. So that's just another reason. And you only have 2 hashtags at the end there. So, I mean, you can cut that out. But let's see, more of my effort to find and share good news in 2023. Okay. See, if I'm not already part of this thread, I don't care about this, right? You're sharing good news in 2023. Oh, how many episodes did I miss? All right. This is great. A new U.S. law will allow the FCC to end a predatory prison practice. That's a great grab line. You start with that, or the FCC just announced that it is putting an end to a predatory prison practice that affects thousands. Enter. Telecom companies held by private prisons, blah, 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 blah. All right. So you get the idea. It's a grab line thing. Your content's really good, but it's the hashtag and the grab line thing. Other than that, your stuff is slamming. Friends. Let me close this out. I hope everybody had a good time. Thank you helping me understand why some posts garner engagement and others don't. I appreciate it. Anytime, and I tell you what, and this goes for anyone here. If you have a post that you are about to post, or you have already posted and you want feedback on, send it to me. If you want me to like and engage with your post, don't do that. There are very few people, like, you have to really, really be tight with somebody to be like, hey, can you engage with this post? But generally 99% of people don't do that to anybody. But if you have a post you want me to see and give you some feedback on, dude, tell me, like, any of you. That goes for all of you. Like, I am here to help. I'm not trying to rope you into giving me money. Like, I'm trying to help everybody do better. All right. So is there ever a time when you're okay with or encourage leading to focus in on a specific audience. Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. If on that last post, for example, of Jill's, if she's focusing in on public relations professionals, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with niching down at all. Make sure that on the front end, though, that you are laser focused, or that you are either laser focused or you are expressing your grab line in a way that gets attention from people who are on the periphery. That's at least, even if they don't engage, if you interest them in the grab line and they click see more and realize, okay, maybe this isn't for me, then the LinkedIn algorithm is like, oh wow, that somebody clicked see more and they had dwell time, so I'm going to pump this to more people. And then you have an opportunity to reach more people in your niche down, in your specific audience. So that's a good question. Just, I mean, across the board, grab lines, they are an art form. Focus on that one, maybe 2 sentence thing that gets people to want to read more. And sometimes I get lazy with it. I will make a post that, does not perform well. And it's like, well, I was lazy with my grab line. That's exactly what happened. 99% of the time, that's what happened. Lazy with my grab line. I do want to say, I got 2 things, friends. 2 big old things. I do have a book about LinkedIn. Got to throw that out there. If you go to Amazon, look for LinkedIn Mastery for Veterans and Transitioning Service Members. You can get it in print or ebook. How cool is that? That's cool stuff. The last thing that I want to say, and this is important for every single person that's tuning in here, every single person, the VA, the VA is really interested in hearing feedback from veterans and military spouses, military family members, surviving dependents, disabled veteran caregivers. They want feedback on their apps and their websites. They want that feedback so much that they are willing to pay people to participate in surveys and studies to give feedback, because they want to ensure, I mentioned equity of access earlier, they want to make sure that everybody, whether they are elderly or sight impaired or hearing impaired or physically impaired in some way, everybody can access their benefits easily. Or if somebody's just not tech savvy, be able to access their benefits and make changes and make appointments and get prescriptions and get travel reimbursements better. So if you've ever wanted an opportunity to tell the VA, like, here's how you can do better with your apps or your websites, folks, veteranusability.us. They give you $5 just to sign up to see if you're eligible. Like, it's everybody wins. You get paid for your time if you end up participating in surveys. You get a better user experience. They make rapid changes. This whole thing is set up in a way that if they get feedback about changes that need to be made, it is boom, 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 very quick. Actually releasing a video on that very, very soon, like a video with an interview from a user experience designer who's part of this process. It's going to be really cool. Anyways, veteranusability.us. Please, everyone here, sign up for this. It is so important. It is part of a federal VA contract. It is a real thing. So if you're like, paid surveys online, forget you, man. It's real. I was a person who participated before I started trying to spread the word about this. Their platform is painful. You talk about the VA, their website, or, but this feedback is the reason why they have started to transition. The VA has started to transition from like My Healthy Vet and eBenefits to their new health and benefits app, which is leaps and bounds better. And they are able to make quick improvements. If you get on a survey with them and you're like, look, I'm unable to access this because of XYZ, most of the time they can make changes by 3 p.m. that same day. And then that not only helps you, but it helps tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands potentially of veterans who are trying to get to access their benefits. I'm begging you, veteranusability.us, go participate in this survey. Yeah, he says, yes, the VA's website and interface. There are things that definitely need to improve. This is how we make improvements, and you can get paid for your time. Everybody wins. Okay, friends. Appreciate you. I think I'll do this again next week. What do you say? Have a great weekend. Bye.